Hey, Shalom, Israel, Most High in Christ blessed. It's Captain Paulo here with 15 minutes with the captains. Today I kind of want to go over, I guess, drunkenness, and pretty much not just actually in the access of just wine and stuff like that, but anything that can separate us from reality. I know a lot of times us being under these curses, a lot of things happen in our life to where we want to separate ourselves from the reality that's going on around us. And sometimes those sorrows and the depression keeps a stronghold on us to where we don't know how to differentiate what's going on. And we go to other things like alcoholism, drugs, porn, go to all these different things to try to cope some of the things that we're dealing with. You know what I mean? And all of it pretty much is an access of being intoxicated to get away from the things that's going on in our life. And that's not a way to do it. All right. We have solutions behind it. The Bible is the solution to get over those things. But it's not meant for that. All right. It's a lot of people that come in this world where they're in the midst of drunkenness. I don't know nobody that drink alcohol for the taste of it. It's for the feel. They want to feel merry, and we're going to talk about that. But sometimes, people that get overly excessive with alcohol and so forth, they begin to get drunk or don't know how to control themselves, and it's all the time. It ain't just once. They always is in the midst of that, and that means they have a deeper issue that's rooted. 9 times out of 10, they haven't corrected it. All right? So a lot of things happen to where we go into drunkenness or drugs, crack, cocaine, alcohol, weed, pills, all of those things to escape reality of the things that we're going through. But God said we're not supposed to be like that. All right. This thing can destroy you, man. When you drinking of excess of alcohol or any type of drugs, all right, it destroys your spirit. It destroys you. We're not supposed to be like that, all right? We got to get over that. You got that?
This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 23 and verse 19.
Come on.
Hear thou, my son, and be wise.
And come on.
And guide thine heart in the way.
It says, be thou, my son, and be wise, and guide thine heart in the way, all right? We're supposed to be keeping the commandments. That's what's going to heal us and keep us on the straight and narrow. But sometimes life get it to where we start to go off. We start to substitute other things in. We leave the Bible alone. We want to substitute something else to get us away from it. All right, and that ain't how we supposed to do. And sometimes we use alcohol. Read on.
Verse 20. Be not amongst wine bibbers.
It said, be not amongst wine bibbers. All right, those that go around and get drunk. Don't be around them type of people, because why? You're gonna end up being one. You're going to end up falling into the same thing. Those people are in the midst of their hurt. They're in there getting drunk and so forth. You're going to end up going through the same thing. Come on.
Amongst riotous eaters of flesh.
Amongst riotous and eaters of flesh. Come on.
For the drunkard and the glutton shall come to poverty.
It says, from the drunkard and the glutton shall come to poverty. There's no difference from alcohol than you eating yourself to death. That's another thing that can be intoxicating, that can get you where you escape from reality. Overeating. You know what I mean? That depression sits in, and what happens? You start to overeat. You come into the truth, 170 pounds, let's say 165 pounds, now you 330. You know what I mean? You 330 because you still dealing with your the old things. You haven't dealt with the things you was dealing with before. You eating yourself, to death. Ain't no difference from drinking. This all comes from some type of sorrow or depression that you have not gotten over. And you got to get over that. You got to read the scriptures. The scriptures is what finds us confident. We're going to get to that. Come on.
And drowsiness shall clothe a man with rags.
Right. Give me Sirach 31. Give me Sirach 31 and start at verse 25. All right. Wine, listen, alcohol, supposed to be something that we enjoy, to be merry, where we having a good time and so forth. But sometimes that right there, it can go overboard to where you get in the midst of drunkenness. You're always drunk. Man, so much stuff can happen when you intoxicated. You know what I mean? Especially when you at home and so forth, the stuff that we don't see. And you know, and your spouse or your kids see it, you walking around, you wasted. You know, your pants hanging down, your kids seeing your nakedness and all types of stuff that can happen, you know, because you still dealing with some stuff that you have not corrected, some things that you ain't dealt with. You know what I mean? You got to get over that. You have to get over those things and become new. All right, come on.
This is the book of Sirach, chapter 31 and verse 25.
Come on.
Show not thy valiantness in wine.
So don't be proud in wine. Don't get puffed up or proud or get that feeling when you get in wine. All right, come on.
For wine hath destroyed many.
Because wine have destroyed many behind it. You start to feel like you're a superpower when you drunk. You start to feel all those things. I guess the alcohol or the intoxication give you a feeling of superiority. You feel like you're in control, but you're not. You're losing yourself. You're not in no control whatsoever. You're destroying. It says, for wine have destroyed many. Because you start to think that you more than what you are at that particular state to accommodate the things that you're going through. Don't do that. Come on.
Verse 26. The furnace proveth the edge by dipping.
Come on.
So doth wine the hearts of the proud by drunkenness.
Come on.
Wine is as good as life to a man.
It said wine is as good as life to a man. Come on. Come on.
If it be drunk moderately.
If it be drunk moderately. All right. If we're going to be dabbling to drinking, it need to be done when we being married, we around one another, and we having a good time, and not for your sorrows. You don't need to be dealing with it. Some of y'all don't need to drink at all. Y'all can't handle it because y'all have some underlying issues that y'all dealing with, and y'all use alcohol or other things or food to try to cover that up, and you end up getting put out for alcohol. You end up getting put out because, or you end up losing jobs because you're drunk at work. You know what I mean? You just all messed up. You got to fix that, all right? Don't be like that. Come on.
What life is then to a man that is without wine? For it was made to make men glad.
See, it was made to make men glad, but not to destroy you. Come on.
Wine measurably drunk and in season bringeth gladness of the heart and cheerfulness of the mind.
Come on.
But wine drunken with excess maketh bitterness of the mind.
It says what?
Wine drunken in excess maketh bitterness of the mind.
It says make it bitterness of the mind. It said, but wine drunken with excess make it bitterness of the mind. Meaning you don't know what's going on. A lot of things can happen behind that. You know what I mean? I know I ain't the only one. You know what I mean? Unless y'all just holier than thou. You know what I'm saying? But I know I didn't like the club, but I done been to the club a few times, and I seen a woman right there passed out, her all over, puke everywhere. She's done. You can get taken advantage of when you in these states. You know what I mean? Like all type. Listen, that stuff it put another spirit on you when you drunk like that. When you excessive drinking and so forth. Anything happen. People that murdered people by excessive drinking. You know what I mean? I've heard a story where they said one of their cousins, I guess, got drunk or was on drugs, you know, and next thing you know, he wake up here in prison. He done killed somebody in front of everybody because they using these things to get away from something, and you can't control it. You do not need to be drinking no liquor whatsoever because your mind ain't right. Your spirit ain't strong enough for it. All right? It's going to do nothing but destroy you. Come on. Read it again.
But wine drunken with excess maketh bitterness of the mind. With brawling and quarreling.
And it put another spirit on you because you be wanting to fight. You like I said, valiantness in wine. You start to, kind of be puffed up. You start to feel like you're proud and so forth. Nah, man. check that stuff, man. You need to check what's going on. A lot of y'all be having those underlying issues. You bring that back. You bring that into your relationships. You don't get over it. You use that against your spouse, against your kids, and so forth. Yeah, we all been through things. All right, we've all been through things in life to where we do need a coping mechanism. You know what I mean? But what is that? The Bible is that. The Bible is what's going to help us cope with the things we've been through. The Bible is going to be what's going to wash us. All right, come on.
Drunkenness increaseth the rage of a fool till he offend.
It says drunkenness increases the rage of a fool till he offends somebody. Then it's too late. You can't control yourself. You know what I mean? You can't control yourself. You get to offending everybody. You can't. You know them drunken people. They be all on you and grabbing you and hold you. Like, man, get up off me. You know what I mean? That's not how we supposed to be. All right, that's a spirit that we don't want on us. Come on.
It diminisheth strength and maketh wounds. Rebuke
because it said it diminishes strength and maketh wounds, meaning like you can just really destroy people in your drunkenness. You can say words that you really don't mean, or you probably did mean, and now you have the courage to go out and say it now. You know what I mean? You want to be extra blunt about how you speaking. Your words can be a wound to somebody. You can destroy that person because then the next day you like, oh, I said that. I don't remember that. You know what I mean? Now you've built a barrier between somebody. Don't be that, man. All right, come on.
Rebuke not thy neighbor at the wine. Because
they're not gonna listen. They're not listening. They're not coherent enough to listen to what's going on when they in the midst of their drunkenness. They're not gonna be able to listen to you. They're not gonna be able to make sound judgments of what you said. Don't do that. All right. Don't correct them when they under wine. You know what I mean? Come on.
And despise him not in his mirth.
Come on.
Give him no despiteful words. And press not upon him with urging him to drink.
Because what's going to happen? It's going to come to a point to where you don't even want to be around these people. You know what I mean? Because they always into some stuff. They always doing something. You know what I mean? The brothers come around, brothers having a drink. It's always that brother that's overdoing it. Reaching, you know what I mean? Over drinking. Every time it's always that particular person. And you looking back like, some ain't right with this brother. Some is going on like he's always on one. He's always the one that's the loud one, always argumentative when he's drinking. You know what I mean? Sisters too. You know what I mean? Because you're dealing with some things. You're dealing with a lot of things, man. And I understand a lot of us come up through many different trials and tribulations. You know, you seen your dad beat the hell out of your mama every day. You know what I mean? Or you seen your mama selling her body to put food on the table. Or you've been molested, you've been raped or something. You know what I mean? In so many ways, people will use drunkenness or food or drugs to try to go and cope everything. But that's not the way. That's what we've been used to. Because there wasn't nobody in the world to tell us to correct it. You know what I mean? Wasn't nobody coming to correct it. Because everybody's trying to get themselves together. They don't know nothing in the world. But when you come in the body, we have the scriptures to get us built back up. We got brothers and sisters that hold us accountable for the things that we do and the actions that we put forth. So we got to make sure that we are getting our minds together, all right? We got to be like newborn creatures, all right? Give me 1 Corinthians 5:11. We're not even supposed to be around people like that. You know what I mean? We're supposed to be getting over that. You repentant, but a lot of us still hold on to that old hurt, that old sorrow, which causes that depression, massive heaviness. And we're going to get into that. Come on.
This is the book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 5 and verse 11.
Come on.
But now I have written unto you not to keep company if any man that is called a brother be a fornicator or covetous, or an idolater,
come on,
or a railer, or a drunkard.
We're not supposed to keep company with that type of person. All right? Because that person got a lot of issues. They always drinking. They always in the midst of something. They dealing with a lot of things that they haven't fixed yet. All right? He be like, damn, are they drunk again? You know what I mean? Causing issues and so forth. You're not even supposed to be around that person. Come on.
Or an extortioner.
Come on.
With such a one, no, not to eat.
So all of these are the same pretty much. I mean, ain't no difference from, you being a drunkard and a fornicator, or you being covetous or an idolater or an extortioner. All of those run in the same, man. All right? So we got to be careful how we deal with ourselves, and we got to get over this sorrow and this hurt that we're dealing with. All right? It's other ways to cope with these things that we have to get over. I know a lot of us had harder lives than each other, you know what I mean? But we got to use the Bible to help build us up from that. All right? Give me because I don't know how much time. Give me and also, no. Yeah, give me a Sirach 38. Give me Sirach 38 and 15. Because we don't even think about this too. The effects of us being in the midst of drunkenness, drinking excessively, or overeating, or doing drugs and so forth, or even porn, or any of these things that try to keep you from, or that you try to cope with, to try to get over things that you're coping wrong. You need to be using the scriptures, but any of those things, all these things can hurt you. Read that.
This is the book of Sirach, chapter 38 and verse 15.
Because all those things is sin, all right? All those things is sin, and those things are going to create problems for you. I'm telling you, if you don't quit it, come on.
He that sinneth before his maker.
Say, he that sinneth before his maker, come on.
Let him fall into the hands of the physician.
It said, let him fall into the hands of the physician. You getting drunk every day. It ain't like, oh, it was an accident. You're over drinking every day. Every day you gotta have 4 or 5 drinks. Now you got cirrhosis of the liver. Or you smoking, you ain't letting nobody you think everything is cool, but you smoking weed in the background. Or you smoking cigarettes, but now you got throat cancer. You got lung cancer. You know what I mean? You're overeating. Now you got diabetes. You don't want to work out. You don't want to eat better. That's why Captain Shem been on us. Like, listen, y'all got to get yourself together. Strokes. All these things happen because we in the midst of wickedness. We're in the midst of sin. And we're not doing nothing to correct it. And the Most High going to put you in the hands of the physician. Now it's up to the doctor to fix you. You know what I mean? You don't want to fix yourself. We shouldn't even have to come to the point to where the doctor's got to intervene, or the Most High have to intervene and put us, give us a real nigga wake-up call. You know what I mean? A real nigga wake-up call for us to get ourselves together, all right? Because we supposed to be building this nation up. We ain't got time, to be going backwards, all right? So we got to deal with the issues at hand. A lot of y'all be having marital issues, and you blame your spouse, because you haven't gotten over certain things. Or you treat your kids a certain way because you haven't gotten over how your dad treated you, or your dad wasn't there. You start to follow into the same footsteps. It's a lot we got to do. We got to get over these things, all right? Give me 1 Timothy's 3:1. Because as men, we want to be the ones out there teaching, going out there and compelling our people in, right? Read that. Let's read that.
This is the book of 1 Timothy. Chapter 3 and verse 1.
Come on.
This is a true saying. Mm-hmm. If a man desire the office of a bishop,
come on,
he desireth a good work.
He desire a good work, all right? Come on.
A bishop then must be blameless.
But guess what? You got to be blameless, though. You got to be blameless. You got to have it to where nobody can say, hey, man, this brother doing this. He a drunkard. Or he smoke crack. Or this dude fat as hell. You know what I'm saying? Like, how can he gonna come out here and teach me he breathing hard and he can't even teach right? You know what I mean? Listen, these people, we got to teach it, but call you out on it. You know what I mean? Like, how can he teach me something? This dude he's a freaking glutton. You know what I mean? So it's like, how can you teach me something? You got to be blameless. You got to be blameless. You got to be on point. Come on.
The husband of one wife.
Come on.
Vigilant, sober, mm-hmm. Of good behavior.
Of good behavior. Come on.
Given to hospitality.
Uh-huh.
Apt to teach.
Come on.
not given to wine,
Not given to wine. Come on.
nor striker, nor greedy of filthy lucre, but patient, not a brawler, not covetous.
It said not given to wine. Does that mean like you can't drink, but that person is not overcome or consumed with alcohol or wine or whatever the case may be, or strong drink? They know how to conduct themselves, when they're in the presence of people. They know how to conduct themselves. They know how to deal with these things. All right? They don't have nothing that's affecting them to where they have to escape reality to use different things to help us escape from it. They know how to deal with things. So when you know how to deal with something, you can show somebody else how to deal with things they're going through. All right? Come on. It says a bishop must be blameless, the husband of one wife, vigilant, sober, or good behavior, giving hospitality, apt to teach. Come on. Not given to wine, no striker, no greedy of filthy lucre, but patient. It said, but patient. You got to be patient. Come on.
Not a brawler, not covetous.
Come on.
One that ruleth well his own house.
It said, one that ruleth well his own house. How you going to rule your house if you're drunk all the time or you high all the time? You know what I mean? Or you popping pills or whatever it is. How can you rule your house properly? The people in your wife see what you're doing, or she's catching on to what you're doing. Your kids seeing it. You know what I mean? You got to have your everything in order. You can't be walking around in the midst of wickedness all the time. All right? Trying to escape stuff. You're not dealing with those demons that you never dealt with those demons. So those demons is coming all the time. You constantly trying to figure, drinking yourself to get over those things and to come right back the next day. They don't even, you know what I mean? I think there's a scripture that talks about that. It don't leave. You know what I mean? It's going to be the same issues the next day when you sober up. But what you got to do, you have to get through those things. All right? Come on. Is there more to that?
Yes. Having his children in subjection with all gravity.
Now, how you going to have your children in subjection with all gravity and they seeing you going crazy in the house? You know what I mean? Or you bedridden because you too fat to get off the dang couch and do something. You can't even parent good. They bringing you big plates and you got they bringing you big plates of fried foods and they seeing you die. They're seeing you kill yourself because you don't want to deal with your underlying problems and issues. All right? You gotta get with that. You gotta get over that. All right? But the Bible is what's going to get us right.
Shalom, Israel. This is Bishop Nathaniel. I want you to know that you can view all our Sabbath classes live on IUIC TV. That's right, I said on IUIC TV. Download the app today. Shalom.